up in this bitch.
Halloween 20. All up in you. Trick or treat, motherfuckers.
Give me something good to eat.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can smell my feet.
Lick my taint.
Also known as a gooch.
Yeah. So what do you do? Just lay on your back and just hit it?
Yeah. Here's your candy corn.
Right fucking here. What you got for me, John? Hit me. It's Halloween, baby.
Did you know there is a Fallout show?
I did. I heard about it. I told Randy it was the Westworld people are doing it.
Because I had no clue that this even existed, and I'm normally on top of this shit, and it completely just slapped me in the face.
We'll see. HBO, Amazon.
I think it's going to be Amazon.
So, okay. Well, someone's going to throw a lot of money at it. It's going to take a lot of money. Is it in the vault only?
I think it's in the vault, and then, which is kind of like the video games always start out. You start out in the vault, and you kind of get out and go out into the wasteland, right?
Gotcha.
You can't just contain it completely. Maybe the first season you could do in the vault.
You could run it for a while. You could just make it all dramatic and shit, and make it like a prison thing, and just make it all Oz.
Then at the end,
and just never get out. Yeah, exactly.
The sun hitting them, and then a death claw comes and eats them.
End of series. You're welcome. I will take that $1 million, please.
But it's a video game series that me and you love dearly. I mean, very.
I'll admit it. I love me some Fallout.
Now, when I first read the article about this being a television show, I was completely like, "There's no way anybody's gonna pull this off." Until, like you said, I saw it was the Westworld people.
Some good hands, everybody.
So
relax.
It has a shot.
Good hands. Westworld was pretty cool. Even you were telling me I didn't even know it was based off of an old movie in the 60s.
Yeah, the old Yul Brynner movie that was in the 60s, and that's where they got the idea for the Westworld show. Some of you all have probably seen that movie, maybe not a lot have.
No.
Would I say it's a masterpiece? No, but it's great to sit down with a bowl of popcorn and watch. Yul Brynner,
sure.
Man, Yul Brynner, he kills every role he plays. I mean,
yeah.
I've never watched a bad Yul Brynner movie. But,
same title, Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
All right, check it out.
And the effects
were rainy day or something.
The effects were actually pretty good for it.
Throw it on if you're cleaning. You need some movie noise in the background. You're writing a paper. I don't fucking know.
You can find it on Amazon, I think, for like $3. You're welcome, Bezos. John
Motherfucker doesn't need any space fuel.
John has it on DVD because I like to not have room in my apartment.
Just keep throwing it on the pile.
Yeah.
Until it pushes you out the door. It's okay, buddy.
I'm a VHS gob.
But you like your stuff. What are you gonna do? Just nice.
I'm gonna bury myself with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
get rid of it.
I'm gonna be like One Eye Willie. I just need some Goonies to come find me.
I'll find you. It was really easy. I didn't even need a map because I buried him.
I'm just gonna be sitting on a throne of DVD cases like this.
Yep. Or so he thinks. I'm just gonna throw him away. And just take the treasure.
and I'm not gonna care because I'm
dead.
I'm dead.
He's dead. He's just fucking dead, guys.
Speaking of dead, the guys from Iron City contacted me today, and if any of y'all saw the live stream yesterday or tuned in for it, thanks. Really appreciate the support. That thing got a lot of views overnight, but
yeah,
they were on location where they were going to be doing their investigation.
Those are so fun. Good job, guys.
And
I was trying to join, my fucking link wasn't working. Thanks a lot.
Hey, I sent it to you.
Got the stupid fingers. What can I say?
You got to use Google Chrome for those links. I probably should have told you that.
It's
Sorry.
Fine. No,
but,
not your fault.
They emailed me this morning and told me they got a shit ton of evidence from that library they investigated last night.
Ooh, baby.
A lot of names being said, flashlights being turned on and off.
Shit.
Did you watch the live stream yesterday?
I have to watch it.
They've been getting followed by a demon.
Really?
That's
not good, guys.
A medium or whatever has told them is called the Hat Man.
I've heard about the Hat Man. It's like Shadow Man. This is a thing that's been going around for a while.
And they've been picking it up on a lot of their
These fucking shadow people are no joke, man.
So, and I advised our boys at Iron City, you might need to go find a priest.
Listen, one hat person to another, we're not people to be fucking with, okay? Take care of that shit. We like having you around.
Don't fucks with the Hat Man.
Don't fucks with the Hat Man, son.
That's a t-shirt.
Just flexing on him. It's just the fucking Hat Man on the top rope, right? God, just giving him the Macho Man's. R.I.P. King.
We're still snapping into it, Mach.
Fuck, sitting on a Corvette hood in heaven somewhere.
Oh,
Hat
shit.
Man, though, seriously, that's I never hear anything good about that guy.
No.
So take care of it, all right? Don't
And-
enjoy having him around. Don't play with him and shit, you know?
Supposedly,
I think I do need to go on a show and tell these guys. Huh?
supposedly the Hat Man, according to this medium, who
Guys.
I've not met, but this medium is telling them that the Hat Man activity has been going up and up because of the Russian-Ukraine war and the negativity in the world, because supposedly this demon feeds off of negativity.
You know, I think there's something to be said for that in general. Maybe for paranormal itself. It's the whole like energy output. Displaced energy, right? That has nowhere to fucking go. So it just bounces around and does crazy shit.
But sometimes, too, we as humans don't know when to not fucks with something.
Guys, well, how do they feel about it? Are they
No,
nervous? Are they scared?
I mean,
Are they taking it serious?
they're taking it serious. I'm just talking about us in general as a population. We tend to be habitual line steppers.
I tell you what you do.
This is not going to be good.
You go, what kind of chain stores do they have in fucking
Pennsylvania?
Pittsburgh? Yeah, what do they got them there? They got like food lines and shit?
No, not that far north.
Whatever you got, go back there and find the biggest goddamn box you can find, right? And they set up one of them old fucking Looney Tunes traps, but
With
it's
a
big
stick.
with a hat. Nice.
Not just any hat.
Black cowboy hat.
No, them big old chimney hats like Abraham
Stovepipe.
Lincoln. Yeah,
Stovepipe hat. What kind of hat? It's like a flat brim, right?
yeah.
Or is it stovepipe? Does it change, or is it just because people see a brim coming out that they distinguish as a hat? It's a shadow person.
Or you can also give him a derby and he can be like a street tough.
And listen,
Yeah,
Brendan,
see?
Susan, if you're here and you're getting a boner because we're talking about your boss, you can't follow me home tonight, all right?
Yeah,
so I
well-
hope you guys are doing that because my shit's haunted too.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I did an EVP session in here one time, and we got two names, Brandon and Susan. We did.
They did, yeah. Yeah. They were talking all kinds of nasty.
Yeah. There you go. There's your shout out, Brandon and Susan. There they go.
Anyway, those are my problems. John has his. But this guy.
No, speaking of
I
ghost
wanna
stories,
talk about this guy's
we'll get
problems.
to this fucker in a minute.
I want to talk about the coming guy.
You have
so bad.
it's Halloween, and we need.
All right.
You've got a ghost story that I've heard, but our wonderful people out there
I don't have a ghost story. I have like a
experience.
yeah. I worked at Sears overnight, and that place was pretty haunted. There was like dogs and shit that would bark at you. I did have an experience where I was outside in an automotive department smoking. I was the only smoker that night, and you had to kind of go out of the way to go have your little break, right? The only open air part was automotive because it had one of those pull down gates. Anywho, I was out there by myself. There was like 3 other people working with me that night. Sears is huge, man. They are fucking all the way across. I don't know. You know, you think of a goddamn Sears store, right? They're pretty fucking far away. And they're old. They're nerds. They're there eating their ramen and shit. You know, staring at their Pepsi cans. They're not gonna pull pranks. I see the glass flexing on me while I'm out there smoking, and it was pretty terrifying. It was like someone was actually like fucking banging on the door. There was that. Like I said, I had dogs barking at me. There was supposedly this 7-foot tall figure that like hung out on the 3rd floor in a kid's department. And just walk around like Marilyn Manson in the aisles and shit. Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff. People died. Someone died there when I worked. It was a family night. I guess they killed over somewhere downstairs, hardware department or something. I would hear like tool chests get knocked over. It sounded like 1,000 fucking tools spilled all over the place. Echoing all over the store, and there was no spills. It was nothing. It was no mess. It was none of that, you know? Sears was weird, man. But apparently it was the first place built. Someone died during construction. You know, it's the oldest. Yada, 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 yada. You would smell cigars by the baler, that kind of stuff.
Is it the old Sears that's out by Pearl City?
No,
that's turned into a church now.
It was in Ala Moana Shopping Center, and they gutted it and turned it into a bunch of other stores. I'd have to kind of like look at the layout of the mall to tell you where it used to be. Make sense of it, you know. But it was a huge lot, and just all kinds of shit, man. That overnight life was a real life, son. There was nothing going on. Just you out there emptying mats and containers and fucking just filling shelves all night. I worked with old people that like wore earplugs, right?
So they wouldn't hear it.
They wouldn't hear anything. You find out that they wore them because it helped them get through their shift because they didn't hear the spooky stuff. You'd always see things wisping by in your peripheral too. All the time. Make you feel crazy. Just little shadows just zipping by you all the fucking time. Kind of a wild place.
That's like me. I had mine wasn't at a workplace. Mine was at my actual residence. And if y'all watched the live stream yesterday, I hinted at it a little bit, but I'm gonna go more in depth. Being this spooky night, it's Halloween. Why not? So when I was 22 years old, I was in college at the time. I got a mobile home that I moved into, and it was down this dirt road, and there was nobody else down this road but me.
Much better story than mine.
And just, you know, not even a quarter of a mile down that road is how far I lived down it. And dude, without the street light or anything, it was pitch fucking black. So for the longest time, I had lived down there a couple of months, and I didn't know that there was this old graveyard that sat down, and it was one of those graveyards that time had forgot, people had forgot, and it got overtaken.
Overgrowth.
Yeah, it got overtaken by trees and shrubs and shit. And there was, I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember he was Company F, 2nd North Carolina Infantry, Confederacy. So he was Civil War. Don't know how he died. His grave was desecrated. It was one of those above ground because I lived in eastern North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina is really bad for flooding from hurricanes. So a lot of the graves are those little, I forget what they call them, mausoleum types.
Probably caught a cannonball to the dick or something. It was brutal.
Well,
you know?
After that, you would think nobody would not fuck with his grave. Just let the dude have some peace.
For sure.
Supposedly kids in the 50s that grew up around there desecrated that grave because they would hide their liquor in there. Or no. Take that back. It went back further than that. It was during Prohibition. They would hide liquor in there. I was thinking of something else. Sorry.
That's fantastic.
But because I started asking questions, and a lot of the old timers around there.
What a great idea.
So a lot of the old timers in my neighborhood were like, yeah, I remember that, you know, that graveyard, so-and-so's there. Back in the olden times, around the 1800s, early 1900s, they would literally list your cause of death on your fucking tombstone.
Those are awesome. I see those.
And there was, in the saddest goddamn thing I remember.
I mean, that's really sad. Not awesome. You know, it's just fucking cool to see, you know?
But the saddest goddamn thing I seen was a mother and her 2 children.
Oh, of course.
They were buried together, and it said all 3 died in a house fire. That was the saddest goddamn thing I'd seen.
Super sad.
Then you had that Confederate dude. You had 4 or 5 babies, clear baby graves. And I'm like, dude, how did people forget this?
Yeah.
Well, here's where it's interesting to you guys, and it was terrifying for me.
So wait, you're just like stumbling around outside of your new property, just trying to checking out the surroundings. You're like, hey, what the?
When I was back when I was living there, I used to have this thing after work. I used to like take my labs and go walk in the woods.
Okay.
And me and Bonnie and my other lab, Hannah, I would take them on walks after work every day, and we'd go walk paths in the woods and stuff because I was a hunter at the time, and I like to go and just take them. And
that's how you found this place.
Yep. And me and the dogs just stumbled upon it.
And there's no like roads leading to it or anything.
It was a path,
Gotcha.
but it but from a distance didn't look like one.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
once I stumbled upon it, a couple of nights later, I'm sitting in my house, and I still remember it was the 2001 World Series. It was when the Yankees played the Arizona Diamondbacks, back when they had the big unit over Randy Johnson.
Gotcha, son.
And I remember that wholeheartedly. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember I was sitting in my living room and a knock come at my door. Well, at that time, John was knee deep in partying and raising hell, so I was always had people in and out of my place. And
Figured it wasn't a thing.
yeah, so I go and open the door. There's nobody there. I'm like, well, fuck, that's weird, because it was a very pronounced like that. So I don't think nothing of it. I'm like, maybe, maybe I was just hearing shit. You're trying to think of anything, and then all of a sudden, the back door. So I'm like, okay, one of these fuckers I'm friends with is out here screwing around. So I go and I open the back door. Nobody's there. Then it goes back to the front. So finally I say, fuck this, and I go outside, and I'm just walking around my property, and there's no one there. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm going, none of my friends would be brave enough to park their cars up the road and then walk down this dark ass road at night.
You're doing pretty well.
Well, that and where my road was, we were known to have bears that would walk out at night and just walk up and down the road. I mean, my road was active with wildlife.
Gotcha.
So you weren't going to at night get out and just walk around.
Yeah.
Because you might run up on some shit you don't want to run up on.
Gotcha.
Because where I lived was close to a waterfowl preserve.
Okay.
So there was a lot of protected animals and shit out there and different things. And so I'm like, well, what in the fuck? And all of a sudden I hear it on the front door. I was in the backyard. I hear it on the front door. I run around to the front real quick. I was a lot skinnier then, so I could make ground a lot quicker back then. But I got around to the front. There weren't a fucking soul there. So it weirded me out.
Gotcha.
And I went back in the house, and my ex at the time, she heard it too, and she goes, what in the fuck? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let it slide.
This is probably a ghost.
And just,
we
didn't think it was a ghost.
Not at all.
No.
Not
Thought
at
it was
all.
just somebody fucking around or something.
That would have been my first thought. Like,
But-
oh shit, it's a ghost.
Thought maybe, okay, one of our friends did get the nuts to kind of walk down here and do that.
Yeah.
And but then that was weird. But what was really weird is I did have a neighbor, but this neighbor, his name was Mr. Duke. He had a mobile home next to mine, but he worked for a power company up in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So fishing season, which is fall, winter in North Carolina, when red and black drum run, he would come down to go fishing. Well, all this was taking place right before fishing season was really started, around the end of August, early September. So it was getting cool and different things. But he had timers on his lights, and I knew it because he always asked me, after the fishing season, if I could watch his place. And yeah, sure, I don't mind watching his place. Sweet old guy. I don't know if he's still kicking now. He was kind of old back then. But, I said, yeah, sure, I'll watch your place. And one particular night, well, I kept noticing it for a few nights. His his outside lights were just going on and off, and I thought it was motion detected. Then I found out them lights didn't have motion detectors on them. And I was like,
Almost flicking a switch.
how in the hell? So I worried, and I called him. And I was like,
You guys have raccoons around?
no, I just asked him if maybe he has an electrical issue in his house. Because he was an electrician, and at the time I was working as an electrician's apprentice. And normally you get shorts like that, it'll make lights come on and off, and that's not good because you get a house fire, right?
Yeah. You mean it's not ghosts?
Well, nobody's thinking that at this time, because it had been a few months since the knocking incident. It had been longer than that. It had been a year since the knocking incident.
Okay. A year?
Yeah, a year had already passed.
Okay.
I didn't get any more shit after that. Well,
Gotcha.
that night, back to where I called him, he was like, nothing I know of, and he gave me permission to go in his house and look, because we had a key.
Yeah.
And I went in there and looked around and didn't see anything out of the ordinary, and breakers looked fine. Didn't smell any kind of electrical. Because normally when breakers start to give, they give an odor of some sort. And I didn't think nothing of it. And it would do it every once in a great while. But this one night, me and my buddy Jeremy, and Jeremy, if you watch it, because I know sometimes he watches our content, Jeremy, he'd back me up on this. He was over at the house one night, and we kept noticing lights in different parts of the house were going on and going off, just flipping on and off. So instantly we thought somebody's in the house, fucking around. And we go over there, and we're looking in the windows. Don't see a fucking soul, but lights are still going on off. I'm like, why in the fuck? I thought the timers, because like I said, he had timers in the living room and kitchen. I was like, damn, these damn fucking timers are going ape shit, but they were going off in the bedrooms where he didn't have timers. So I'm like, what is going on?
So the lights are just flicking all over the house.
So me and Jeremy...
You're standing in it?
No, we're not in the house. We're out on the deck.
Gotcha.
Which he had a closed-in deck. And that plays a part in this story, because the closed-in deck with the door, screen door. So we were standing there in this front yard, and all of a sudden, we can't understand what's going on. The lights are still blah, 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 blah. And they quit.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, whatever happened just cleared itself up.
Did you guys like look at each other to
Yeah.
confirm the shit and everything? Like, what
And
the
the
fuck, dude?
Shit you all not out here in YouTube land, the goddamn door to this place opened and went boom and slammed back. Like I said, no wind. Nothing to make this door do that. Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, it was like glass out there on the sound if you'd went out there to the shore and seen it. Me and him were like Zoik Scoob and hauled ass. I took off. I was running so fast my t-shirt got hung on the railing to my porch and completely ripped it off like fucking Hogan style.
That's amazing.
I had burns all over my neck from it because it just like choked me, but I didn't care. It scared the shit out of me. Jeremy's in my house.
So you guys at least ran to the same place?
Yeah, Jeremy's in my house. Oh, you're never coming back your fucking house again. Fuck that. There's too many ghosts and shit around here. Fuck this shit. And at this time, this was like, you know, Blair Witch had just came out a couple of years prior too, so everybody still was thinking that the Blair Witch was going to come gobble them up and shit.
I still do.
And
she is.
But I ended up later on, I finally took it serious. I was like, okay, there's some paranormal fucking bullshit going on here. So I had friends that were Wiccans, nature witches and shit. And I went and talked to them, and they told me that
Nature witches.
well, that's what they are, Wiccans. They worship nature. But
you need to make it sound cooler, guys and gals.
But anyway, I talked to them, and they told me that probably what was going on was the spirits in that desecrated graveyard were not used to having me down there, so they were fucking with me to try to scare me off.
The only other person that lived down there was never home.
Yes. So I made a point, as crazy as this shit sounds, I made a point one day that I walked out to this graveyard. I spent 2 hours at least out at this graveyard and just sit there and talk to them. As crazy as that sounds, I'm sitting there talking to fucking graves, right?
Yeah.
But guess what?
You should have cleaned up the cemetery or something.
Oh, I did.
Yeah?
I started cleaning it up. I would go out there and pull the weeds and stuff and different things. But after that,
but at the same time, if they were all Confederate and shit, it depends. That might make people mad that you're picking their weeds. You should have been kicking over their heads. I don't know. We can't make anybody happy.
Look, they were fucking with me, and I had a baby at home.
I had a baby in the place?
Yes. That's why
you ghosts. How you gonna pick on a man and his baby? You guys are ruthless. See, I wish I could tell a story like that. I can't tell a story like that because all my ghost experiences are just little moments, you know, like little quick moments. Hearing like Lucas whispered into my ear, you know, on the back of your neck and shit like that.
I was a skeptic for the longest time, and then after that shit happened, I became a full-on believer, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care if anybody comes and tells me I'm full of shit, I'm crazy. I know what I experienced. I know what Jeremy experienced. We both
There has to be something to it.
Doors don't open on their own and close without
Well,
wind or something to that effect.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially that old rickety ass screen door that's not got,
Oh,
motor.
I just mean like paranormal in general. There has to be something to it. Whether, you know what I mean? If it's afterlife, if it's just energy that has nowhere to go. Because energy always has to have somewhere to go, right?
Y'all want to know something really shitty?
What?
I never told the old man that his lights and shit were going on and off. I was like, I made peace with these spirits.
You piece of shit.
I'm not telling on them.
Hey, your shit's haunted. He wouldn't have cared. He's never home. Should have became really close with him. Like, so what's it like? They're just sitting around. One guy's got like a cannonball hole in him.
With a powder
With little
wig.
kids and shit. They're all shitty, racist, and awful. Why do they even fucking fix you people? I'm glad you're dead.
Hey, so-and-so company F. He said it, not me.
A winner. Look at me, I'm still alive.
And to be fair, it wasn't really his grave that I really cared that much for. It was the kids, man. Those
Well,
kids.
it's getting
dude.
haunted, dude. Leave me alone.
Well, I
got a
still,
baby in my house.
I also felt for those kids that were buried there. They never had a chance. That was the thing that always. I'm an old softy for shit like that, and I sit there and I would look at those graves and I would be like, man, these kids never had a chance at nothing. They never had a chance to.
Should have just fucking dug them up. Built a fucking Frankenstein or
God damn it, they're only 100-something years old. I mean,
sew them together and like stick them up on a rod and good old southern lightning storm comes.
Frankenstein.
It's Halloween, guys. That's what you should have done, buddy. Did you, you're a coastie. Did you spend a lot of a coastal person, as far as the coastie term
Yep.
means? Did you ever experience anything weird on the sea? Any old, like,
So,
Davy Crockett's locker kind of shit, whatever the fuck is Davy Jones.
So, anybody that's grew up in coastal North Carolina,
Yeah.
it's no secret that we live on what's called the graveyard of the Atlantic. A lot of shipwrecks off the Outer Banks. Outer Banks are real treacherous for people.
Fucking
getting
hurricanes,
fucked up.
man. That shit's just fucking looping up the coast, right?
But we also
Usually.
had pirates, a lot of pirates, because Beaufort, North Carolina, not Beaufort, South Carolina. Beaufort, North Carolina was a very big port city way back in like 14, 15, 1600s. Some, not that far back. I would say, 16, 1700s. Beaufort was a port city. And it was also notorious for being where Blackbeard the pirate liked to hang out. But we had all kinds of ghost stories. I was a caretaker on the Outer Banks. And people used to tell me about the old lighthouse keeper that would walk up and down the beach with his lantern. And he had no fucking head.
One of those, huh? Is he looking
So-
for his head?
He was an old lighthouse keeper at Cape
Or
Wood.
is he looking for head?
Well, I'm not sucking.
Maybe. If it's the only way out of the situation, I'm gonna suck my way out of it, Scoob.
I never seen anything like that, but there were certain times of the year when it was me. So the entirety of the Outer Banks, normally, where the island I was on, Core Banks, was about 10 miles from one end to the other, I think.
Yeah.
And there was nights I was over there and I would be down on the beach, because I used to like to ride the four-wheeler down onto the beach and just watch the moon rise and shit, because it was always so beautiful to me. That was the best job I ever had.
Jeez.
That was the best job I ever had, dude. And working over there.
So poetic.
But I would sit there and I would think, I'm the only person on this island except for me and a park ranger, and that park ranger is 5 miles away.
Yeah.
So if something happens to me, I'm kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And but
Boogeyman's gonna get me.
yeah, but I would sit there and I think about those old stories that those old timers used to tell me about the old lighthouse keeper that walks up and down the beach looking for his fucking head and shit. You know,
There's always that guy.
dude. If I seen that shit,
There's always that guy. There's a gray ghost or something that rides the shore to warn you before a hurricane comes or some shit like that. Every place.
Blackbeard was beheaded at Ocracoke, and people have said that they've been out there on their boats before and seen a light under the water going around their boats.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's Blackbeard underwater with a lantern, his body under the water with a lantern looking for his head.
There's always train lights. Trains are some haunted ass shit, guys. Motherfuckers are always getting run over by them things and stuff. And
There's Fort Macon, which was an old Confederate fort in my hometown. That's haunted as shit with Union and Confederate soldiers. People that's worked there as volunteer security are always quitting because they always hear and see weird shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think, man, the tragic way people died in that fort. It's going to leave some fucking energy, some juju.
For sure.
Blackbeard's house, Hammock House, is notorious. People sign leases for it because it's protected by the state, because it's a landmark. And people will sign couple of year leases to stay in it just for upkeep. And plus, who doesn't want to stay in an old pirate's house, which initially it was an inn, and then Blackbeard just kind of took it over. But
hey, fuck Blackbeard. He was nasty and shitty.
But here's the story about that.
His ass.
About that house. He had a bride who was 15. He come back from the sea, and he tried to have relations with his young bride, who was clearly not of age. But at that period of time, that was not a thing that was looked at, right? It was just different time. And I'm not, sick. But she would not do what he wanted. So he took her out back at the fucking house and hung her. That's
the story. Is that the famous story? Does she haunt the house?
Yeah. There's a blood spot at the foot of the stairs going from upstairs downstairs that people have tried to grind and sand and paint over on the floor, and they'll get up the next day and it's back. And supposedly that's the blood stain from her.
Yeah.
Because I guess he beat her up real bad and then hung her.
Wow. What a dark ass tourist attraction.
And they have a pirate festival. I've always been against it because like you said, you're romanticizing these murders, man. I get you're trying to make that tourist money.
It's a historical landmark. I get that.
But you're romanticizing a murderer, dude.
Kind of sucked, man. Like, the dude sucked.
He was a terrified cat. He would literally light his face on fire to scare people.
I bet he wasn't even that scary. I ain't afraid of you, Blackbeard.
What you gonna do tonight? You're sitting in your bed.
He's probably like a little ponytail back there standing by the bushes. Get the fuck out of here.
He's gonna be at the foot of your bed tonight going, Avast ye hearty.
It's alright.
Cool. What was the name of that pirate ghost in SpongeBob?
I don't remember. I think it was Davy Jones. Davy Jones' locker.
He had the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, Davy Jones. You know the story of Davy Jones? I don't know the story, but he has a locker. I think it's like the devil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you, SpongeBob.
My other question was military service. Anything overseas?
25th Infantry Division's headquarters building up here.
Yeah.
Was part of the attack on Pearl Harbor. And people that do what we call division staff duty, which is normally an E6 and an E7 that do it. And staff duty, for those that don't know, haven't been in the military, and I'm not in no way insulting anybody's intelligence because not everybody knows. It's a 24-hour shift where you stand watch on a building.
Yep. And E6 and E7s determines how many cookies each person can eat.
Yep.
In a stack. They measure by mouth. So big mouth people get to go do this job.
But
right?
actually, that's the staff. Sorry,
Yes.
Sorry, first class.
Yes.
But
cookies.
this building got hit during the Pearl Harbor attack. Well,
Really?
there have been documented, or people that have documented in their overnight reports, because we always kept a log when we do staff duty.
Functioning.
Yeah, we still use. Yeah, because it's a historical landmark.
I mean, I get like
they'll never tear it down.
Of course not. But I figured you wouldn't use it anymore either. Though, right?
But It's been documented by people that's done their staff duties there. They've heard screaming from upstairs, heavy footsteps from upstairs, and they've went to look and investigate it, and there's nobody up there.
Interesting.
You go around the buildings there, and you'll still see the bullet holes in the buildings from the attack.
Yeah.
Now, Pearl Harbor, the hangars there at the Aviation Museum, the old timers that work there talk about ghosts that roam around there, ones that died, and they literally have wreckage from aircraft, from Zeros, Japanese Zeros that were part of the attack, to American planes. And the thought is that the spirits that they're seeing around this aviation museum are spirits that are attached to that wreckage.
Really? Yeah, it makes sense. Displaced energy, son.
USS North Carolina, where I'm from, is haunted. They've had all kinds of paranormal people go on that investigating, and every one of them said there's all kinds of funky shit.
We should probably investigate.
Third, the graveyard out here at Schofield, there's a woman in white. I know it's so cliche, but that's the legend.
It's very cliche.
It's a woman in white that roams the graveyard at night, and she literally goes around to each individual grave and just like puts her hand on it, almost like she's a guardian.
Interesting. Which grave?
It's a veterans graveyard out there on Schofield. It was right by my old motor pool. That's how I heard about it. Was one of my old motor sergeants was telling me about it.
Interesting.
I always wanted to go out there and see. They said, that she never interacted with anybody. So I don't know if it's a residual, which is like a broken record that just keeps playing over and over, or what. But yeah, Schofield's really haunted. I was at Fort Stewart in Georgia. Never really heard too much about Georgia or Fort Stewart.
Lame guys.
Not really much of anything. Now Georgia itself, yeah, Savannah, Georgia, haunted as shit. They built a lot of the buildings in that city on top of mass graves. And they had a tunnel system under the city because they thought if they went in underground, they wouldn't contract the bubonic plague or whatever that plague was that swept through Savannah at that time. Their thought was if they went underground, they wouldn't catch the disease.
Interesting.
So there's a tunnel system on this coastal port town in Savannah, Georgia. Tunnel system down there. Now you can't use it; it's collapsed in now. But a lot of the buildings there are built on mass graves.
Was it boogie fever?
Maybe.
I was just trying to escape it into the sewers.
Yeah, but
can't flee.
There was one building there, and you guys, any of you've watched any paranormal television shows? It was called the Moon River Brewing Company. At one point in time in Savannah's history, it was a hotel, and it caught fire, and just about everybody that was living in, or it was either apartment building or hotel, but all the people that were in it died.
Yeah.
And now it's a restaurant, and they have a ghost there named Toby that's constantly playing pranks on people and all kinds of shit. And
you gotta do more than open doors and shit for me to care. You're just wasting my time,
but
Casper.
It's weird because I went on a ghost tour of that place one night. I used to like to go in there and eat, and they also make excellent beer. They make their own beer and shit there.
I've been to this place a couple of times.
And love that fucking place. But they do a little ghost tour there, and you go upstairs. Upstairs is not remodeled. Yep. It's literally, you can still see the char marks from the fire on certain beams. Not they're burned completely in two, but they're like some smut on them and stuff.
Gotcha.
So you go up there, and it's just like the air is almost like you're walking through Jello.
Interesting.
Just fucking heavy.
Is it the like?
It's just
smoke?
an energy. Just
Yeah.
an energy up there. It's just heavy, dude. Like you don't want to be up there at all. I mean, I went up there and I'm not really scared of ghosts. I don't like little creepy kids and dolls and shit, but I'm not really scared of ghosts per se. But I didn't stay up there for too long. You didn't feel wanted. You ever been in something and you just know, like Spidey sense tells you, like, I'm not supposed to be here?
Like every place.
That's what that place was. Any of y'all ever go to Savannah? Yeah, go to Moon River Brewery Company. That's
Are they still in business?
yeah. They'll never go out of
You
business.
sure?
Yeah, man. Savannah's booming, bruh. As long as there's military, everybody's gonna be making a killing around there.
Let's see.
Also, Kevin Barry's Irish Pub.
Yeah.
They
You
have
doing
a.
shout outs now.
I'm just telling people, if you ever take a trip to Georgia, man, hey, go see the
I'll be your
sights and
tour
sounds.
guide.
And the city's awesome because they got a Catholic cathedral that on the hour, you hear that, you know, the old classic like Big Ben chiming through the city, dong, dong. So, and you still got cobblestone streets and shit. I love that fucking place. Haunted as shit though, but it's such a beautiful city.
Smash that subscribe.
By duking that notification bell. Give us a thumbs up.
Tickle everything.
Leave us a little comment. Hey, if you guys have got a ghost story, leave it down here in the comments.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some spooky from you guys.
I'll get better at my storytelling. Yeah. Yeah, you know? Listen, I got a lot of paranormal photos, but most of them have dick on them. I'll try to see what I can do. I'll put them up on the page. We still got a page?
Yeah, those are the real Slimer.
Surprise.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
It has been John Luke. Thank you guys. We love you. See you again next time on Behind the Fiends.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers.